Grabbing everyone in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last session of the Startup Breakdown event. How exciting. And also, I'm a little bit emotional, but I'm not going to start crying. But this is a panel session, and we are here today with some fabulous guests, some who might look familiar to you and some who you might not know at all. So welcome, my guests. I'm joined today by, first of all, Menelik Shillingford from the London Chamber of Commerce, as well as Lakshmi Narayan from AirMeet, which is the virtual event platform that we are on at the moment and have been delivering our event. And my wonderful co-organizer and co-host, Pamela Benitez from the Virtual Events Experience. And so very, very excited to have the three of you. And the topic of our panel session is how to generate leads for new business. So what I'm first going to do is get our wonderful speakers and panelists to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit more about their business and their role. So Menelik, would you like to introduce yourselves? Tell us Tell us a bit more about the London Chamber of Commerce and in particular your role there.
The London Chamber of Commerce is the capital's largest independent networking business support organisation. So we represent hundreds of London businesses and create actions every year to offer members a range of practical support services. So these range from connecting, helping to influence, and also supporting and scaling businesses. So just to give you a few ideas, we help to actually have FaceTime with physical figures, with other businesses, and also to generally promote round up and scale businesses. So I think a great place to start would be looking at connections as a biggie. At the moment, we've had COVID, everyone's been kind of scaled back at home, not able to see FaceTime, and the Chamber really bridges the gap to help businesses kind of go through working with other businesses and really reaching their target client market.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Menelik. And now I'm going to move on to Lakshmi. Lakshmi, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about AirMeet and...
Sure. So, hello everyone, and good evening to you all. So, I am Lakshmi Narayan, and I work as an account executive for the Europe growth team at AirMeet. To start with, you're on it. So, how are you feeling? So, everybody would be feeling great. I can see that smile on everyone's face. That means that you're feeling great. So, on the current pandemic, you see, the virtual events have become new normal. So one thing, it saves a lot of time. You need not have to hunt the physical event. Where shall I go? Where shall I go? Which is the best for me? So now you have to turn around the table to your virtual platforms. So AirMeet is a one and all solution. And you just not find your event platform, but you also have a wonderful team who is going to assist you with your account, with trainings, onboardings, and you ask anything, we have it, right? And the best is there to handhold you. So there's no nervousness at all. So that's a brief introduction of myself. And maybe like going forward, I can give you more relation and show you my solutions as well. Just give a brief about what solutions AirMeet is offering you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Yes, we're all definitely got smiles on our faces and we've had a fantastic experience. So
that's great to know.
That's been really great. And my last wonderful guest is Pamela Benitez. Pamela, would you like to tell everyone about your business and a little bit more about what you do?
Before we start, I just want to say apologies on behalf of Jason. He had personal situations, he couldn't join. But moving forward, I'm stepping as a new business that started in September. I launched my business end of September last year. So those that didn't know, I lost my job in April, and then I got in on the new enterprise allowance that is mentored by Trust. And in a quick time, I launched my own business in September. So the virtual event experience is, one of the creators of this amazing event, and I hope that you're enjoying. And the idea is create events that give back and that put on the front the social cause in question. In this case, is Shaw Trust that provides mentorship for early start business that are included on the new Enterprise Allowance program. So my company is created not only to create this type of events, but also sell different experience, and that is what basically that the company does. And I hope that you could see from this day to day, putting together the agenda, having amazing people coming around, and also connecting with the sponsor, connecting with the media partners, connecting with the charity itself. So that is basically the whole thing about the virtual events experience.
Fantastic. And she is amazing at her job. So, you know, if you are looking for someone to help you in the space of virtual events, Pamela is really the go-to. So that is my recommendation. So let's get started on the panel session. The big question, we can start with Menelik, is how do you generate leads for new business? Would you like to give us your advice, tips, and insights, Menelik?
So apart from the biggie, which is having a good value proposition, you need to know your audience. So it's about approaching them well, understanding their needs, and targeting your approach. I mean, a lot of the time we see, as you said, cold calls go to people and they're not really engaged. You can't sell on a cold call or a cold email, and people really don't want to listen to what you have to say. I mean, you say social media is a good platform, but sometimes it's saturated. So how do you really target the right people? I think that's the key. So it's all about narrowing down your niche, your demographic, and actually speaking directly to them. If you come to your demographic with a real valuable product, they're not going to turn you away. So it's first of all about isolating that market and getting the right message to them.
Fantastic. And we're going to ask now, Lakshmi, how do you generate leads for a new business?
Yes. So with respect to from the point of view of a virtual platform, right? So you have these exclusive booths available. So you can sell booths to your sponsors. That is one thing. The sponsors can utilize the booths where there is an interactivity available. So they can generate leads there by talking to the participants who are. So they can engage with the participants. It's not just in the booths; it's in the tables as well. So if the event organizer dedicates a table for a particular sponsor, right, or a particular, it could not just be like a marketing lead. It could be like fellowship. That could be like for a career. The lead can come in wherein a student is coming and asking a counselor, right? That's also a lead. Right. So that's also a lead. So we can have designated tables. We can have one-on-one conversations. So going to the conference mat, we can have the booths, we can have the social launch where we can also arrange the counseling. We can also use the booths as the fairs. They did career fairs there. So we have trade fairs. Best use case is the product launch. So the product has their dedicated booths. So people come there, they talk, the interaction is happening, and everywhere in the event, they can share their information with each other. It could be through direct chat, it could be like one-on-one conversation, etc. So the lead can be generated this way.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. And last but not least, Pamela, how have you been generating leads for new business with your new business?
Thank you so much. For my new business, I actually started basic. That is looking with my past clients, any indications that they could have. And that was the first. To speaking with friends, introducing my business to them and say, I'm opening this. Do you know anyone? Actually, from one of my contacts, I managed to sign book depository from Amazon. So which is really so don't underestimate your friends and your contacts, because they should be your number one point of contact, because they might know someone, they might not be the one buying, but they might know someone that wants to buy your service as well. And I also am proud to say that my company is part of London Chamber of Commerce, and I came across with Menelik, and I love London Chamber because they created different sessions of networking with different business owners, and you're always connecting differently. Besides that, you as a London Chamber, you can always request data from sectors. I think 200 data. Is that correct, Nalik?
So
I normally.
I think, as I said, focus on your right demographic. The London Chamber provide a huge amount of data. So, I mean, it's about actually using our data, filtering it down to your specific needs.
Exactly.
So we provide up to 200 leads per month. This could be, businesses size 50 to 100. You need to speak to the HR manager or the MD. And we provide the direct contact in terms of names, emails, for you to draw up mailing lists, or for you to actually get in contact directly. Now, apart from that, we also have 230 network events per year. So it's really about that FaceTime, that kind of informal way of kind of communicating, building relationships. So it really adds value if you're speaking to potential clients, understanding them face to face, and then you can supplement that with marketing to your demographic, featuring in our magazine as well. So really, it's about a kind of three-pronged attack, if you will, building your credibility through visibility, and then also directly speaking to those of interest through our mailing list, through our members directory, and as Pamela said, actually connecting with people and building relationships. I think that's the key.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, all of you. We've got some questions already, so let's see what they're asking. So Gila has asked, are you restricted to just London, or do you reach out and network with businesses throughout the rest of the UK? If only London, have the Chamber of Commerce's in other cities also set themselves up with on networking and advice? Are you able to provide some insight on that, Manele?
So we're not limited to London, which is a good thing. It's all across the UK. And now I've seen, members join from Dubai, from Spain, from Ghana. The fact that COVID is hit, it's not always a bad thing. We've had virtual networking as AirMeet provides, and now it's bridging the gap from, London to New York to Dubai, and all kind of countries are joining into the London's infrastructure and business landscape. So very positive, and no, it's not limited to London at all.
Fantastic. We've got a question from Emery, and it's again another question from Anelik. I have started a new business with quite a niche market. I have spent hundreds on data, but I never seem to get through people open to my niche. How could the Chamber help me overcome this?
See, this is exactly what I was talking about. It's about targeting the right contacts. I mean, you can scattergun everyone and you get zero response. But if you filter who you're looking for and use our data, then you're going directly to your potential customers. And therefore, you're going to see a much stronger return on investment.
Fantastic.
I just want to quickly jump in as well. For more data that you have and for more list that you have, and I think like Lakshmi gonna say so as well, you need to connect, you need to meet these people, you need to create moments like this one that we have, where we can come together, meet face to face virtually and actually talk, because it's not, imagine that you send like a range of a database of 10,000 contacts, but then you just get like a 5 or 1% return. But from that 1% return, none wants to your business. That is not good investment. So good investment is exactly if you spend something and you convert it immediately. So for doing that, you might need to meet the people, because nowadays it's getting difficult people to buy things easily as before. So I would say that perspective of creating moments, creating events to connect, that is specific. And the virtual world gives so much for the analytics, because you can invite people and then you can actually get the analytics on it, and then you have your sales leads, and then you can see, okay, that went well, or that didn't, but I got more people, and perhaps I got only 20 people, but 20 people actually interested in my business.
Yeah.
So that is quality versus
I think
quantity.
so too. And I think this is an interesting segue for me to bring in Lakshmi. Lakshmi, Airmeet, as a virtual event platform, you live in the business of data, right? And your whole platform runs on it, and every single client that uses it has different metrics from every single event that they run. So, what is the benefit of that? How can you, for example, filter down that data so people can actually use that data to, for leads, to generate leads? Can you give us a little bit of insight on that?
Absolutely. So after every event is done, right, we provide this analytics report. So analytics report gives you an insight exactly where the attendee was. It could be like they would have spent some time on the tables talking with each other. They would have attended the live sessions. Obviously, in this platform, they're automatically dragged into the live session, so everybody would be here. But apart from this, you will also get the data on where they had spent time. Probably, like if it is like the tables you have dedicated for your sponsors. So again, the sponsors will be able to get an insight. How many people came and went out? That means what is the interest that's been generated, right? So that could be easily filled. And they can get in touch with those people who have visited their tables to ask, hey, why don't we get into a meeting? We see that you were interested to talk with us. So let us do it. So that's the analytics report. And also, apart from that, I would like to second with what Pamela told, that we should have face-to-face meeting. Obviously, we will not be able to meet each other face-to-face physically. But yes, so Airmeet always asks people to come onto a call, because email never gives out emotions. It's all when we talk face-to-face, right? So when we come face-to-face, we can understand the requirement and give you the right solution. And giving a right solution and the customer is using that, out of it, when you get an ROI, that's when the sale is going to be successful on both ends. So
Fantastic. Absolutely agree with that, Lakshmi. So we have a question from Marie. Networking is pushed by every organization, but I'm not a networking expert, and I don't feel I see the return on investment. What do you do different? I guess this is a question on how do you network to get leads, right? So let's start with Menelik. I mean, obviously, the LTC organizes a vast number of events. Do you actually equip your members with, let's say, tips on how they should be going into these networking events? What should they be doing? And do you have specific tools, for example, in place at these events so that, they are ending up, like maybe set up speed dating, or there's specific events kind of, like interaction kind of activities. So please let us know, what can you do that?
So first of all, I agree with Lakshmi and Pamela completely. You need FaceTime. And normally, I mean, COVID, we had physical events in London's plushest hotels and venues. Sometimes it's too daunting to work the room. You go in a room and you don't really know what to do. So what we do is we facilitate instructions. If you come to our events and, for instance, you want to meet a lawyer or a accountant, we simply, introduce you physically, get the conversation going, break the ice, and let you do business. And it's as simple as that. I mean, that's how we're finding people really make those relationships that last. It's not going to be, someone walking up to a stranger and having to introduce themselves. That's a bit daunting. It's more of, hey, here's someone that we think would be great for you to meet, have a conversation. It normally takes off like that.
Fantastic. I love that. That's a great way. And you feel so supported as well. You're not alone there. You've got someone holding your hand and going, this person, you should meet this person. And then it's a nice kind of entry into it, and I think that does really change a lot when it comes to this kind of networking environment. So we have a question, Menelik, can the LCC provide details in specific sectors? So like the funeral sector, for example, in the Middlesex area, is that possible?
Yes. So luckily we have business analytics on all sectors within the UK.
Okay.
So if you have a SIC code, SIC, literally we can provide you financial analytics, business intelligence, or just content details. So I mean, there's no sector we can't deal with.
Fantastic. Manpreet, thank you very much, he says. And we've got a question from Shahena. She's saying, how do we have our business listed on the Crown Procurement Services list of providers of services? So I'm assuming that is one for you, Menelik.
Well, that's a good question. So we are not government. However, we do work very closely with government procurement lists. So again, it's about coming to us, letting us facilitate those connections, and then we can really bridge the gap. I mean, we can't guarantee, but we can definitely open the doors. And sometimes, I mean, it's as little as having our logo on your email get you through the door. So, yeah, I mean, something we can definitely work on together.
Fantastic. And so I have a question for Lakshmi. It's more about, you know, obviously we've got lots of data, and there's, you know, the beginning of the networking stage is always difficult. But what do you do post? You know, so you've sent out the analytics report, the event is over. How do you keep in touch with your clients and then use that and those activities to kind of hopefully generate leads?
Absolutely. So we have the account management team who will be getting in touch with the, for example, now if it is your event is done, so you will have our account management team coming to you asking for a feedback call. So that is our first step. So we will collect the feedback, and wherever there is an improvement required, we will go back to our product team, because AirMeet gives the first preference for the customer feedback, right? So we do that. And after that, we will be in touch with you until you say, please don't email me or please don't call, connect with me. We will be in touch with you by sending out feature updates. Actually, April, May, June is like a heavy month for AirMeet. We are coming up with a lot of feature enhancements. So this is where you will get a lot of mailers from us. It could be from the marketing team as well as from our account management team, whom you would have spoken earlier. So all these things are to be the steps for the expansion. So it's like we are in touch with you, and the next event, probably the first thing you would do is, okay, let's try out AirMeet before you go for an evaluation, unless it was bad. So this is one way we are always in touch with our existing customers. And we also ask for reference. We have several referral codes which we give to you. So you can refer us to your connections. So that's also one way to be asking for leads. Right.
Absolutely. I think that's a very, very strong point, actually, that Lakshmi brought up. I think testimonials and recommendations are an important part of being able to generate new leads for business, because people buy from people, and you know, word of mouth is a very strong way to sell something and get new leads. You know, Pamela, if someone asks me now, I'm looking for a virtual event producer, and I've worked with Pamela, and I say, I know one, she's fantastic, and I give a recommendation, then that is immediately going to be that she's going to be able to generate new leads. So as Menelik said, you really do have to nurture your community as well, and your network of family and friends, and like Pamela said as well. Because they're going to be your biggest spokesperson and people that you've worked with. I think in terms of being able to generate leads, do not underestimate the power of community and your network. Supremely important. So we've got 2 more questions that we're going to answer, and then we are going to end the session and thank everyone. So the first one is from Kat. What is the best way to connect with all of you after this event? Well, Kat, you can contact all of them. Just check out their speaker profiles. All their contact details are in there. You can email them directly. And also you will be receiving something in your email. So you'll be sure to have their contact details in order to reach out and connect with them. after this event. Our last question is from Philip. Generating leads from the web/social is a slow burn versus leads from networking is more instant. Yes. Is it better to focus more on one or the other, or spread your resources between the two evenly? That's an interesting question. Actually, I'm going to ask Pam that question. What do you think, Pam?
I would say definitely you need to try and test and analyze which one is how much you spend and how much you generate, and then make a decision, and potentially always leave one that you, for me, networking and being an exhibitor is the one that generates the most more revenue for me, rather than online paper campaign or any other. But that is my personal case for my business. Therefore, what I do is I allocate my marketing budget more for networking and for being an exhibitor, for example. I'm going to be one exhibitor for the Impact Summit, for example. That is more my field. So I would say first test, spend something in one and the other, see the results, and then make a decision how you split your budget.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pam. And thank you, Pam. Thank you, Menelik. And thank you, Lakshmi, for your time. It's been a brilliant panel session, and we've all gotten so much value in terms of insight and advice from all of you three. Thank you, everyone, for attending this session. Myself, Pamela, and Carly will be back to end off our event, so stay tuned for that. And yes, thank you again to everyone. You can contact after, or you can just go into the lounge for a short bit to chat with Lakshmi and Menelik. They will be both in there. Take care, everyone. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.